Hi everybody, I'm Mike Garska. I'm the president and founder of FindAMentor.com, where we educate, propel, inspire, and communicate. Welcome to part 2 of the FindAMentor tune-up, the PAL tune-up. In part 2, we'll talk about getting into those habits that will lead to success and take advantage of what we learned in part 1. In part 1, we learned about the master key to riches. Whatever the human mind can conceive and believe, we can achieve. Every goal that's ever achieved is first conceived in the mind and then believed in the heart that it can be achieved. Then it's put on paper in the form of a blueprint, and then it's built out there in the world. Whether it's a building or a business, that's the process. Conception and belief, then plan, and then achieve. And we talked about the human interaction process, going from the mind to the heart, to the intention, to the action. Each one of us, every day, all day long, interact with other human beings, with the world around us, and with ourselves. And we do that in this form. And all day long, every day, we're sensing, feeling, thinking, intending, and acting. Sensing, thinking, feeling, intending, and acting. And the human interaction process can help us take that master key to riches, that secret to success of thought and belief to the next level through our intention and through our action. Wayne Dyer wrote an entire book about the power of intention because he understood that the intention leads to the action, which allows the conception and the belief to be brought into reality. It takes discipline. It takes work, because humans are creatures of habit, and how we think, feel, intend, and act is a habit. So what we want to do is give you the PAL tune-up to help you change those habits that need to be changed in you. And they're different for everyone. Everyone has different negative and positive habits. We want you to find out what your negative habits are and shift them to positive. And one of the first steps in doing that is to get in touch with the 4 win intentions in everything that we do in life. The PAL tune-up is going to help you to develop the habit of thinking and feeling and intending 4 wins throughout every aspect of your life. On a personal note, 4 wins means winning intellectually, winning emotionally, winning physically, and winning financially. It also means having the intention of every person that we're interacting with. We want to have the intention of them winning 4 ways whenever we possibly can. We want ourselves and the other person in any interaction to win either intellectually, emotionally, physically, or financially. When we take the intention of 4 wins, we succeed more in our lives. The same thing with a business. When a business takes the intention of having the shareholders win, the employees win, the suppliers win, and the customers win, it becomes more successful. So the human interaction process, the secret, and the 4 win principle can be adopted if you do all the things that I ask you to do in the PAL tune-up. The first part of the PAL tune-up is to plan and conceive. Conception. Whatever the human mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. So here we want to conceive it, and then we want to plan for it. And the first thing I want you to do is to write down all your goals. Write down your personal goals. Write down your career goals. Write down your relationship goals. Write down short-term and long-term goals for each of those. So you got 6 lists. And your 7th list is a revolving list, your daily and weekly task lists. Write all your goals down. No building gets built without having written goals. The architect draws out every detail of the plan on paper. Then the builder puts it up. But it gets put on paper first. Businesses succeed because they put their goals on paper. Individuals can succeed if they put their goals on paper. We want you to do that. We need to first conceive the idea, get a vision. Then we need to plan it out, write it all out. And then we need to act on achieving it. Business people do not get a loan from a bank without having written goals. They write their goals in the form of a business plan and in the form of a budget. And then they write their short and long-term goals in the form of an operations plan. Daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly tasks to help them achieve the business goals and the business plan and the budget goals and the budget. So the banks won't lend a business person money without having a set of goals written. Why is that? Because they know that writing goals down is the first step to achieving them. Gail Matthews of Dominican University did a study. And she wanted to know if writing goals truly did make a difference, because we've been talking about it for 100 years. So she did a study. She put people in 3 groups. Those that had goals but never wrote them down. Those that had goals and wrote them down. And those that had goals, wrote them down, and then made themselves accountable to another person by giving progress reports. It was very clear by the end of the study that those people who wrote their goals down achieved significantly more than those who didn't write their goals. Apparently, 97% of us don't have a clear written idea of where we want to be next week, next month, next year, or 10 years down the road. Why do people not have a clear written idea of where they want to be? Why don't people write down their goals? Because we've never been taught that in school. We've never been taught the importance of writing our goals down in school. And if we have been taught it, most of us have not been taught enough, or the reason of why, so that we actually go out and do it. They don't teach us the secret in school that what we conceive and believe is the beginning of all achievement. They don't teach us that the human interaction process affects our lives dramatically. How we interact all day, every day long with our sensing, thinking, feeling, intending, and acting. Why don't they teach us these things in school? We don't know. I wish they did, but they don't. So we're here to go over those principles today. And we want you to start with planning and conceiving and writing your goals down. Get yourself in the top 3% of the population and write down your goals. Business people succeed because they're forced to write down your goals. You will succeed if I force you, or you force yourself to write down your goals. Just do it. Even when I go to the grocery store, get all the items on my list, come home, put them away, I feel more confident in myself. I feel good about myself that I've got all the items on my shopping list. The idea of writing goals down and crossing them off lists is the idea of feeling good about ourselves. Every time I cross a goal off a list, I feel a little bit more confident and more belief in myself. That's the importance of writing your goals down. Write them all down. Personal, career, and relationship. And relationship goals aren't just with a significant other. They might be relationships with friends, or different types of family members, or different types of business colleagues. But have relationship goals, have personal goals, goals that you need, things that you want to work on in your character, things that you want to learn that you don't know. Write down your career goals, exactly where you want to be in life, what type of job you want to do, how you want to serve. When we cross goals off lists, we gain confidence and belief. And belief is the number 2 element in the master key to riches. Conception is the one, belief is the second. When we cross goals off lists, we get both. And when our conception and our belief is aligned, then our intentions and actions are in line. It's not complicated. So start with writing your goals down. The second part of the PAL tune-up is to become aware of things around you as much as you possibly can. Awareness is key. The more I am aware of what's going around me in my life and inside me in my sense, thought, emotion, intention, and action process, the more I can make adjustments to make them in line with right thought, right emotion, right intention, and right action. Become aware of what you need to learn so that you can achieve your goals. Know yourself, know what you need to grow. Write down your strengths and weaknesses. From my list of strengths, when I'm feeling down, I can go back to that list of strengths, and it can help me get in touch with some gratitude and build more and get in touch with my confidence and belief. My weaknesses list is a list to start to make some goals from, so that I can work on those weaknesses in my character to become a better me, so that I can serve better and interact with those I interact with on a daily basis and have a positive effect. But I need to be aware of what my weaknesses and my negativities are before I can make some changes to start them. Write down what you want to learn and what qualities of emotional character you want to build in your life. Remember that it's thought and emotion that activates the master key, not just thought. So we want to have access and be able to easily access positive emotions. And the way to do that is to start accessing them and make that a habit. Emotions like patience, confidence, belief, persistence, love, gratitude, perseverance. All those positive traits we want to incorporate into our emotional self. Write down which ones you need to work on and get some feedback. People often perceive us much differently than we perceive ourselves. And if I'm not aware of how other people are perceiving me, I'm not aware if I'm affecting negative processes in other people. And if I'm affecting negative processes in other people, I'm pushing them away typically. So I need to be aware of how I'm being perceived. The only way to do that is to ask, to get some feedback. I teach communications courses, so I perceive myself as a good communicator, and part of being a good communicator is being a good listener. Yeah, 2 years ago, my son told me, "Dad, you don't listen to me. You cut me off all the time. You're a lousy listener." Whoa, that surprised the heck out of me. I confirmed with a couple of people, yeah, you're cutting them off constantly. Okay, so this is a relationship that I feel a lot of safety in. I have a lot of investment. I want my son to do well, so I interrupt him. I get my internal chatter going, and when he's talking, I interrupt with my internal chatter rather than letting him finish what he's saying and listening to him thoroughly. I don't coach that when I'm coaching communication skills. I coach to be quiet, listen thoroughly, let the guy finish, and then talk. And I wasn't doing that. So what I did is I gave him permission to interrupt me when I interrupt him and say, "Dad, you're not listening to me. Stop." And so over the last little while, he's been doing that. And as a result, I'm getting better at listening. So 2 benefits happened out of him pointing out that I'm a lousy listener when I'm in a relationship with him. I'm a good listener when I'm working because it's my job. But when I feel safe, I wasn't a good listener. So I tuned up my listening skills, and now I'm a good listener in my relationship with my son. That's the first benefit. The second benefit is he got a mentoring session. In that, I gave him permission to give me feedback so that I can improve myself. So now that he knows one of the techniques of improving himself is to get people to give him feedback, to give them permission to give him feedback. So get feedback from other people. Often we think we're being positive, other people are perceiving us negative, or vice versa. But it's important to know how we're being perceived, because everybody is a unique individual with a unique thought, emotional intention, and action process. And so how I perceive myself might not be how somebody else perceives me. Get feedback and be accountable to yourself and to others. In the Gail Matthews study at Dominican University, those people who reported on their progress and got feedback from other people achieved even more than those who simply wrote down their goals, and 100 times more than those who didn't write down their goals. So write your goals down, get some feedback on them, and you will achieve them. Learn something new every day. Read books. Read blogs, read articles that fit your growth list. I'm not a big reader. I read 1 or 2 books a year. But I learn every day. I read short articles. I read short blogs. I watch short videos. I am very inquisitive in my daily interaction process with other humans. I'm constantly asking people what they think and how they feel. In that process, I learn something every day. Attend free webinars. Develop a Socratic nature. Ask questions of everybody and yourself. Socrates used to sit in a square in Venice and ask mentees questions. They would ask him questions, he would answer, and then he would ask more questions. He would learn as much from his mentees as they learned from him. The other important part of asking questions in mentoring, or being a Socratic type mentor, is when I ask questions, it gets the mentee to problem solve and think outside of the box on their own. I want mentees to exercise their brain power by trying to solve problems of their own. Ask the question, solve the problem. If I get stuck, then ask a mentor. And then the mentor's duty is to answer the question, unstuck them, and ask them another question to get them problem solving and doing things on their own again. But don't stop asking questions. As mentors, when we ask questions, we learn. As mentees, when we ask questions, we learn. Asking questions helps us learn. And when we ask other people about themselves, they feel engaged. When I ask questions of other people in an inquisitive nature, I find out a little bit more about them, what they're thinking, feeling, intending, and acting. And I can learn from that process of either what to do or what not to do. But the more I ask people questions, the more they engage with me. The more I get the opportunity to learn from them and from my world around me. Develop a Socratic nature. Get in the habit of asking questions of yourself, of others, and then follow up. If you're asking questions of yourself, research it. Find the answers on the internet. When you're interacting with other people, ask questions. It engages them. And we don't achieve any goals without having other people engaged. When we get in the habit of engaging other people through the process of asking questions, we get help achieving our goals. We don't achieve goals on our own. We always need the help of others to achieve goals. So the more I'm able to engage others on a personal level, the more they want to help me. And I do engage others on a personal level by asking them about their HIP, their human interaction process. What do you think about what we just saw or just heard? How do you feel about what we just saw or just heard? Do you feel confident or do you feel depressed? What is the emotional trigger? When I do that, I engage other people. I engage other people by asking them questions. And I learn something new in that every day. The next step is to take action every day. And remember, and I'm going to say this over and over again, every time we cross a goal off a list, our confidence and belief in ourselves builds. And my intention is to get you to do things so that your confidence and belief in yourself builds so that you can achieve more goals. It's about habit. Get in the habit of action. Take action on one or two of those goals every day, and your belief and confidence will build every day. When we get into the habit of taking action every day, we get into the habit of feeling good about ourselves. Every time I take action towards a goal, I feel better about myself. Oh, I got that done today. Take action on one of your goals every day. I asked you to make up 6 lists, short and long term, for personal, relationship, and career goals. Act on one or two of those goals every day. Manage your time. Time management is critical if you want to act on your goals. Make time for every aspect of life that's important to you. You want to grow rich with peace of mind and maintain balance in your life, at the same time giving great service. We need to get good at managing our time. One of the most important elements of managing time, like I mentioned earlier, is to do it now. So when something makes sense, when something comes across my desk that I can do and deal with right now in the next 30 seconds or minute or 5 minutes, and then I'll never have to deal with it again, it's off my plate and I can get back to my list of things. So I set a time aside each day to deal with the emails and different things that come, voicemails and things that come across my desk. Those that I can do right now, I do. Those that need to be put on a daily, weekly, or monthly task list, I do that, schedule it into my day timer, but I manage my time effectively. Managing time is a choice. Often I hear people say, I didn't have time to do it, sorry I didn't get it done. And it's not that they didn't have time to do it, it's that they chose not to make time to do it. We have a choice, and we exercise our power of choice 1,000 times a day in that human interaction process that we're going through every day, all day long. Stop at the perception and thought phase and choose to make time for what's important to you versus just allowing it to happen. Manage your time. Make a phone call. Take some kind of action. Send an email. Make a sales call if you're a business owner or a salesperson. Connect with somebody that can help you on some progress and some goal every day. Remember the magical word next. I first learned about the word next in sales. As a salesperson, we're constantly getting rejection and no. If I let that affect me, I'm never going to make any success in sales. So we learn as salespeople the word next. Okay, that one didn't work. Next. Oh, that one wouldn't work. Next. Oh, that one worked. Next. Because we can't sit on our laurels either. Next is a magical word in the sales game. It's also a magical word in the goal achievement game. In order to achieve goals, we have to take all kinds of different actions. Some actions don't work. Some do. Either way, we got to move on to the next one until we get to that goal. And then we set a new one so that we have the next goal. But that word next is common in achievers. And they are continually moving to the next level of action or setting goals or whatever the next level is for them or for you or for me. Remember the word next. Unify and network. No goal of any consequence is ever achieved alone. We always require a team to achieve goals. Unify. Use mentors. Build mastermind teams. Do whatever it takes to help you achieve goals and meet and greet and network with as many people as you possibly can. The bigger your network, the more service you can do, the more wealth you can attract. Get many mentors. I use 4 business mentors, 4 communications mentors, 4 spirituality mentors. Well, my spirituality mentors are actually a mastermind group. And we meet once a week. Well, that just keeps us in line with our belief systems and our HIT process, staying in line with our belief systems. Unify and network. No goal worth achieving is ever achieved alone. The biggest advantage to networking is that we're constantly moving in and out of little mastermind groups. Napoleon Hill first coined the masterminding principle. After interviewing hundreds of the world's most influential, the richest and most powerful people in the world in his time in the 1900s, every single one of those people attributed much of their success to the masterminding principle. People like Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, Mahatma Gandhi, the Roosevelts, Churchill, all the most powerful people in the world at the time. He studied them for 20 years. He interviewed them for 20 years before he wrote his first book called Think and Grow Rich. And then he wrote 4 or 5 other books on growing rich. His last one is Grow Rich with Peace of Mind. And he interviewed people and he learned something constantly, and then he transferred that wisdom into books so that all people could learn how to be rich. We could learn the secrets from the wealthiest people. They're in the books. There's thousands of them out there. When 2 or more minds come together, a third invisible, intangible force likened to a third mind is created. That's the masterminding principle. Who doesn't want a third mind working for you? I do. Remember, success begins in the mind with conception and then belief. A third mind, if I'm in a mastermind group of 2, I've got 3 minds now. If I'm in a mastermind group of 4, we've got 5 minds. Get into mastermind groups. It helps us learn quicker. It helps us achieve quicker. One of the best mastermind groups that I was ever involved in was on a sales team. We were a young group of people. I got hired in my early 20s, I was actually 24, to do industrial sales for a rental company. Now, all of our competitors' sales teams were in their 40s. Very mature, experienced, knowledgeable people representing our competitors. All of us on our sales team was a young group of people under 30, including the sales manager. So we immediately had a little bit of a disadvantage. We were inexperienced when we were calling on construction companies and superintendents and owners. So what we did to battle that disadvantage is we met at the end of every day. For 3 years I worked with this company. Every day, from Monday to Friday at 4:30, the sales team met in the office. The sales manager joined us. There was 4 people on the team. And each one of the salespeople went through every single sales call that we made that day. What went right, what went wrong, what we said, what we heard. And as we did that, we got feedback from the other 4 members in the group. Oh, maybe try this next time. Oh, when I was talking to that guy, I used this and it worked. Oh, when I was talking to that guy, I used that, it didn't work. And we learned from each person's trials and tribulations every day. Now, this was in the 80s in Alberta. The economy was very flat and very weak. Yet, Green sales team increased sales for the 3 years I was there, 30% year over year, because we got really good at masterminding, and as a result, we got really good at selling. And we got really good at giving good service. So, mastermind with people helps you increase your learning curve and get way better at whatever you're doing. When I go into businesses on a consulting level, I look for the mastermind teams. Who are they? Then we bring them together. We get them on their collective focus, and then we give them a meeting schedule for them to meet. Now, sometimes it makes sense for them to meet daily. Other times it's weekly. Other times it's monthly. In big companies, some of the groups, mastermind groups, only have to meet a couple times a year. But we set a regular meeting schedule. Get yourself into some mastermind groups and set a regular meeting schedule. Build a profile at FindAMentor.com. Our mentor network has a unique feature. When you're building a profile, you can check the box, I want to be part of a mastermind group. Then you can search the database in that category for other people that want to be part of a mastermind group. If you don't find a mentor in that category, build a mastermind group. Set a schedule, a meeting schedule. Work towards your collective goals. If you can bring an experienced mentor into that peer mentoring mastermind group, that even helps. And it's good for the peer mentor, because he gets to mentor 4 people at once. The benefit again to mentoring is that the mentor already has the thought, emotion, intention, and action process down. And as mentees, we want to incorporate that into our life. It's difficult to do from a book alone, but when I'm interacting with another human and asking questions on a Socratic nature, inquiring about their human interaction process, I can learn about the full process in achieving that particular objective. The thought, emotion, intention, and action process. That's tough to learn the emotion, intention part of that process from a book alone. We can learn the action and the thought process, but that emotion and intention process comes best through a person-to-person relationship, in which case is a mentor. If you don't find a mentor or mastermind group at Find a Mentor, check the other mentoring websites at our mentor resources and websites pages. We list hundreds of other mentoring websites. Go to those sites, build a mastermind group there, or find a mentor there. Try a Google search for a specific type of mentor. Search for an engineering mentor, or a carpenter mentor, or accounting mentor, whatever type of mentor you're looking for, life process, life mentor. But unify and network. Thanks for watching part 2. We'll come back and talk about the rest of the PAL tune-up in part 3. Go out and make it an awesome day. Bye for now.